peristiwaan ni ketika sepanjang berada di angkasa lepas. Ni ramai yang ada yang buat joke kata mungkin Dr. Sheikh jumpa Yapin katanya, tapi dia kata tak kan. Kalau boleh kerja lagi, dia kerja lagi lain. Jadi saya dimaafkan Dr. Sheikh ada mendengar bunyi azan ketika nak turun ke bumi balik. Jadi mungkin Dr. Sheikh boleh ceritakan sebarang pengalaman Dr. ketika berada di sana. Silakan.
Memang ya, saya 3 jam sebelum kembali ke bumi, saya rasa begitu sedih sekali. It was the best 12 days of my life when I was in space. I didn't want to come back. It's as though you found your soul in space. When I was young, I always wanted to contribute. I always wanted to contribute to society, but I never knew how. I went to Afghanistan in 2002 to do some humanitarian aid during the war. I went to Cambodia and the Mercy in 2003. So I've always wanted to contribute. So when I realized that when I became or chosen as someone, I realized this is what I wanted to do, to change the mindset and inspire the younger generation. And when I was in space, it was the most beautiful 12 days of my life. You feel you're so complete, you feel like everything is so perfect and you didn't want to come back. So I was actually sad coming back, and 3 hours before coming down, I actually heard the azan. I heard the azan for 10 minutes playing in my head. And I realized then that it was time for me to come back. I've completed my mission in space, and it's time to come back and share my experience and motivate and inspire the younger generation. I guess that was the reason. But it's not uncommon, and there's so many miracles going on in space. Even some say that Ilham even heard azan in space and so on. So I believe in kebesaran Allah. I believe everything is so in space.
Mungkin doktor boleh ceritakan sedikit pengalaman doktor daripada doktor mula-mula masuk ke kapsul Soyuz itu dan sampai ke angkasa kemudian ke bumi. Secara ringkas.
Okay, pelancaran Soyuz adalah pada 10 Oktober 2007. Dan 3 jam sebelum berlepas, kami sudah memakai spacesuit, kami sudah memasuki kapsul Soyuz. Tempat di dalam Soyuz memang sempit. Actually, the shorter you are is better to become an astronaut. So those who short out there, you can apply to become an Angkasawan. And your height from your vortex, your coccyx and tulang tongking should not be more than 99 centimeters for the Russian Soyuz. So mine was about 96 centimeters, so I was saved by 3 centimeters. Your seats, your space are tailor-made, are made by your design. And tempat dalam Soyuz itu memang sempit. As you can see the picture, you have to sit in that position. It's called a fetal position. And during those 3 hours was the most painful time of my life. You tak boleh luruskan kaki, you can't do everything is so cramped. And it takes about 8 minutes 48 seconds for the launch from the Earth to reach the orbit. It was one of the longest 8 minutes of my life. It feels, you start to vibrate so hard and you can start feeling the G-force towards your chest, but it's only up to 4 Gs. But once you're floating in space, once you start being in the microgravity, everything was just amazing, everything was just perfect. So you start to float. You remember when you start to watch Superman when you were young? That's exactly how you feel. You just float from one point, grow together. Even masa nak tidur pun, many ask me macam mana tidur di angkasa lepas. You go inside a sleeping bag and you sit yourself up. And I remember the first time I didn't time myself. I woke up, I was on the other side of the module. So it's important to tie the sleeping bag on the hatch. And water is very precious in space, so I miss having showers in space actually. They use wipes, and they use wet wipes where you just wipe your face and your body. In fact, they even have shampoos in space where you shampoo your hair and you just wipe it with a towel. And the food that we eat, we have a food warmer in space. Most of the food is actually a vacuum pack or freeze-dried. It's very dry, and everything has to be approved by the Russians. And we usually play games while we're eating. We open the can and we let the food floating up and above, and we just grab it with our mouth. So it's really fun during eating and during drinking, because all the crew will have our timings and come and eat together. Every morning, setiap pagi kita dapatkan radiogram mungkin daripada bawah. They will tell us the schedule, what time to wake up, what time to mandi, what time to eat. So we have to follow a very hectic schedule. But most of the time, we just work in space. Oh yeah, exercise. Thank you, Dr. Many. As you don't stay there for 12 days, but most of the crew stay for 6 months. And you know what happened to their bodies? Their muscles become atrophied and muscles jadi kecut. Your bones become osteoporosis. You start to lose your bone mass. So it's important for you to exercise in space. In fact, the Russians and Americans exercise 2 hours every day in space. They have a treadmill where they strap themselves and they go like jogging. They have resistance exercise and so on. So these are the things to be done to prevent or minimize bone loss, especially for those who stay for 6